Hi everybody. In today's project, what we're going to do is create a six-way mirror imaging, or tessellation also, where we'll take a triangle and mirror it six ways. As you know, as I've mentioned, hexagons tile or tessellate perfectly, and so this is a project in six-way mirroring, which will come up later when we're getting closer to the end of the course, also with our MC Escher project. So anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna start with one of the quarter circle projects, and you know how if we have selected squares in the past using the rectangle marquee, so what we want to do this time is select a perfect triangle. So to do that, we have a shapes tool on the lower left here. It's below the type tool, and what you want to do is click and hold this and scroll down to the polygon tool and put 3 sides in the top in the options here. Okay, and as I click and drag this, I'm going to try to hold shift so that it's a perfect equilateral triangle. And I also want the base to be parallel to either the bottom or top or side. Okay, next, let's see. What happened here is, as I pulled this out, we have a stroke, which is because this is a vector shape. So at the very top in the options here, I'm going to put stroke at 0. And we need to convert this vector triangle into a selection. So just to recap, I clicked on the shapes tool here. It's a vector tool. I put 3 sides in the top. We want no fill and 0-point stroke. And as you pull out the triangle, you want to have a base parallel to one of the edges. That's important. Next, we click on the Paths tab right here. You probably just see layers, channels, and paths. I have a couple more items in here. And the third button in at the bottom, we want to convert the path to a selection. So now we have a perfect equilateral triangle selection. So now I'm going to copy this, Control C. And I want to make sure I'm on the right layer, and I wasn't. See, I want to be on the background layer. So I click my Layers tab, click the background layer, and do that again. Control C to copy it. And then create a new document, File New, and let's make it in inches, 10 by 12 by 240. So 10 by 12 by 240 RGB color. Create. And paste, Control V, the triangle that I copied into the document. Alright, now what we're going to do is copy this triangle 3 times and mirror the 3 of them edge to edge, and then we'll merge those 3, copy that once, and put the 3 against the next 3, and we'll end up with a hexagon. So Control J, J twice. So I have 3 copies. Take your move tool, move 1 to the side and 1 across from the base. Okay. Okay. So the one across from the first one, we want to flip it horizontally and then rotate it in so it touches. That would be 60 degrees. So here we go. I clicked on it to make it active. Control T. Right click, flip horizontal, and then in the angle box at the top in the options, make it -60. And then take your move tool and move it in. And notice how that mirrors perfectly. The one below, you're going to Control T and flip it vertical. And just move it in, just like that. So I'm going to zoom in to make sure all the lines are correct. And I'm going to move that in 1 pixel with my arrow key, move that in 1 pixel with my arrow key, and then merge these 3 together. So I'm highlighting them, right click, merge layers. Alright, Control 0 to zoom out. And now we're going to copy this one, Control J. See? And then we're going to mirror it. So flip it horizontal, Control T, and flip horizontal. And then I want to rotate it 60 degrees to the right. So I'll put 60 up here. Enter twice, or hit the check mark, letter V for your move tool, and move that in. And I'm just double checking that we don't have any gaps. Okay, and merge these 2 together. Alright, now you have a perfect hexagon. I'm going to make this a little smaller, so I'm going to Control T the whole thing. Hold down Alt and grab a corner and shrink it in a little bit. That way we'll have more of a pattern going here. So now these all tile perfectly, just like lining up squares. So if I hit Control J and move that to a corner, and then Control J and move that to an edge, not a corner, I'm sorry. And let me zoom in to make sure this is aligning properly here. So again, nudge it with your arrow key, and this over 2 and up 1, and this one over 1, and there we go. You could take these 3, why not, and merge them, and then we have a unit that we can just tile again, and they all fit together like a puzzle. Control J. So, nudge it with your arrow key to fill any gaps. Control J. Control J. And just fill up the entire page here. You could try this with a photograph also instead of one of the 2D designs from earlier. Control J. So, oops. There it is. And Control J. So it's okay that I'm losing 2 of them off the side. It still saves some time. And Control J. It'd be fine if your original hexagon was a little bigger. Either way. So these little pieces in the corner I'm filling. Control J. Or I could crop it in if I wanted to speed it up. Control J. Oops. Wrong one. Okay, so make perhaps 3 or 4 of these to put in your portfolio. And here we're going to merge these all together. Right click, merge layers. I'm going to hit Control L for levels in this case and adjust the light a little bit. So I'm going to make them a little more contrasty, pulling in the highlight, pulling in the shadow, and give it a little more zip here. Yep, it looks good. So try photograph like a flower or almost anything that's kind of got broad shapes, and do the same process. Pull out a triangle, convert it to a selection in the Paths tab, copy it, paste it into a new document, and then build out your tiling. And that's it. Have fun. Email me with any questions.